Hi everyone, welcome to NAV Know How for NAV 2013 and above. This is for simple page and report design. I'm going to have a Q&A at the end if you have any questions. Also, it's been recorded, so it will be on our blog next week, early next week. If you can't hear anything or you can't see my screen, if you could just send me a message on the chat. That'd be great before we start. I did one earlier this morning, and the internet was a bit slow, so apologies for that if it is the case. But as I said, it will be on our blog, and I'll make sure if you email me, I can send you the link directly so you can see it. Okay, I'll make a start then. So this is applicable for all customers, all users of NAV who use the Rolltailor client. So that's NAV 2013, 2013 R2, 2015, 2016, and also NAV 2009 R2 RTC. So there's a good few versions that this is applicable for. We're going to be covering about 15 minutes on page design, adding fields, removing fields, deleting fields, properties on fields, source table, how to find out report IDs, page IDs, and same for the report design, adding, removing, moving, creating boxes, labels, lines, fonts, and sizing. All these things are things you should be able to do yourself if you want to. Generally, we do changes for you on support. If it's under about 15 minutes, we'll just do them for you, no problem. But some of these things I think some of our customers find helpful that they can do themselves, especially if it's just sort of tweaking, that kind of stuff. Okay, so to begin, I'll just show you the system we're going to be working with. It's NAV 2016 we're going to be working with. Here it is. And if you're not familiar with the development client, the dev environment, this is it here. And this is where we're going to be doing the development, and we're going to be seeing the changes in the Rolltailor client. This is a Cronus database, so it's like a Microsoft standard with a few mods in, but it should look as close to standard as possible, really. Okay, so let's go into our dev environment first and have a look at the objects. So if we open our dev environment and connect to the database, so database open, and go and grab your this is my SQL Server, here's my database, I'm logging in with Windows. Okay, so first things first, we're going to back up our objects. If you don't have a test system, I would make sure you always back up your objects. Today we're going to be working with report 205, so I'll back that up. So file, export, and we'll do 205 2016. And also we're going to be looking at the customer list. I'll back that up as well. So file, export, customer list 22, NAV 2016. So if we go and mess up our changes today, if I make some errors or I accidentally delete something, I can always revert back to the original simply just by going to File, Import, and picking up our backup objects. Okay, and also if you could do it in your test database, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't got a test database, we can help you make one. There's no problem with that. Okay, so first things first, we'll do the page design. So we're going to go to the customer list, customers. So here's the list I want to edit. However, I don't know what the customer ID is. Well, I do know, but it's helpful to be able to find out easily. To do that, you go up to the little arrow at the top and do Help and About this page, and that should tell you the page that you've got your focus on. So if you cursor and you click somewhere, it will tell you, okay, so it's customer list. So I'm happy that that's the one we're going to be editing today. So if we go and open up our customer list and design it, we'll be given a list of all the fields on the page. Okay, so first thing I would mention is every page, or pretty much every page, it has a source table that it runs off. For the customer list, you can imagine it's the customer table. So let's just confirm that, because it's helpful if you're familiar with the source table. So if you go down to a blank line at the bottom, just Control End, and do properties, which is new properties, or Shift F4, and if we go down to source table, so if you just click in the property field and do S source table, and we can see the table it looks at is customer, so it reflects the fields from the customer table as like a shell. That's what the page is. So on our customer list, first thing we'll do is we'll add a new field. So to do that, we will click into one of the fields here. We'll go up to the field menu, this little icon, and this will give us a list of all the fields in the customer table that are available to be selected. So let's say I want to add the, let's have a look. What do I want to add? Something relevant to us, doesn't matter. Language code, maybe. Okay, we grab that. Now if we go and move our cursor over, we should be able to click in to any field, and it should drop it just above, I think. So it says, do you want to add the fields? Yes, I do. And it has. It's gone and added the language code in now. We could also do this for a selection. We could, should be able to do something like this. There we go. So it's added those three in, credit, currency code. Now, these haven't been saved to the database. We've got to compile the object first. So to do that, we just do Control S, or File and Save. So if we refresh the page now, and you can do that up at the top in this, in like the breadcrumb area, or we just press a little refresh, we should have the new, there we go, language code has been added here. Okay, so let's say we're not happy with that. We could move it or delete it or hide it. So let's move it first. So if we go up to our language code, it's near the top. Here it is. So we can move it down. We can just cut it. So you can highlight the line and do Control X, cut the selected line, and we could go and drop it maybe just above the postcode. So press F3 to enter a new line. You don't even need to press F3. You could just highlight the postcode and paste, and it will drop it in. And you can do that for multiple. You could go and grab a whole chunk and do Control X and cut them out. So we'll save that. That's Control S to save it, and we'll refresh. So I've gone and got rid of a load of fields, but language code is there. So let's go and move it down, just so you can properly see it moving. Put it below postcode. And let's do that again, refresh. Let's probably, I don't know if postcode's hidden actually. Let's just double check. Okay. Yes, it wasn't. It was available, but it wasn't shown standard. But it would have moved in the order on the page. So you just need to play around with the order. Okay, so we can also easily delete fields. You just press delete on the field. So let's go up to language and press delete. Do you want to delete the line? Yes, I do. Control S to save it. We go back in and we refresh the page, and now the language code's gone and disappeared. Okay, we can also hide fields. So if we go and hide the Not saying we'd want to, but let's say the contact. So if we go and do properties on the fields, so view and properties. So every field has a properties, it has properties against it, and you can have a play around, but basically you can hide it, disable it, enable it, make it editable, change the caption of the column. So we'll make it visible false first, and then we'll change the caption afterwards. So let's have a look. So now contacts disappeared. Just check it in here, and here we go. We can see contacts being it's been hidden, but we should be able to design it back on using the customization. Okay, let's go and unhide that. So we're going to say visible true. Just delete the value and it will default to true. Also, we'll go and change the caption. Let's say we're not happy that it says contact at the top. We'll say I don't know, person cust responsible or something. Doesn't matter. Anything you want. Cust responds. So it's very simple to make quick and easy changes to your page, and all of these will reflect if you export to Excel, which is here, print and send. I think all versions of the newer NAV 2009 up have an Excel export. I think even the old versions had it. Basically, any change you make on the page will reflect on the exported Excel document. Okay, let's go and see what else we can do on the page. So we've added a field, we've deleted a field, we've checked the properties. Let's go and edit the font. Okay, so we can do style, and we could say let's make it a strong accent. So these are different different looks to the column. So you can draw attention to a certain column, and you have a play around with it. You'll see what I mean in a moment once it's loaded. So now we can. I've given it this strong accent, so we can draw attention to certain fields. So you can easily change these. These can also programmatically be changed. So if you look on your vendor ledger entries, for example, I think if it's due, it goes like red in the newer versions. So you can change these things based on certain conditions against customers and anything in the system. But this is like a static accent we've given it, so it will always be this blue. And we can also make it I don't know, like red and green. I think it's favourable, unfavourable, ambiguous. So these things could be helpful if you've got staff who want to look at the phone number very easily, or something on the customer card, or customers on stop. That's a common one. If it's stop, then make it red, or is it that kind of thing. So that's another simple thing to do on your pages. Okay, so we've done about 15 minutes on page design. This is just for the look and feel, just a few good changes. Let's put the object back on, so file, import, and we'll put the original back on so I don't mess up the database for other people using it here in Metaphorix. So it's customer list, open the import worksheet, and then we're just going to say replace all. You're probably familiar with this screen, and it says gone and replaced it. So if I go refresh it now, it should have updated with all the defaults. So yeah, it's gone back to normal now. Okay, great. So let's move on to report design. So open this up. So I've made a backup of the report I want to use. We're going to do the sales order confirmation, because that's a popular one. Now we'll open up a sales order confirmation to have a look at it. Okay, it's over here. And we'll just preview it first, just to have a look. Okay, so there's our sort of standard. I've added this title at the top, NAV Know How. Okay, so I've made a backup of it. We're now going to design it. So we're going to our development environment. We go and change the category of object type to report and find our report ID. Search, I know it's 205, and we're going to design. Now, in the newer versions of NAV, this is an important note because the people attending this call have all different versions of NAV 2013 up to 2016. It either needs Visual Studio. So if you want a list, what I'll do when this comes on the internet next week, I'll put a list of what Visual Studio version you need for what NAV client. In the newest versions, you don't even need Visual Studio. It's actually given you a default report editor. So if you go to Tools and Options, and it's a really good move by Microsoft because it means you don't have to go and buy Visual Studio, or it comes just default. And we're going to say Use Report Builder, yes, and then we're going to say OK. Now when we design the report, when we go to View and Layout, it won't kick off Visual Studio, which is my default development environment. It's going to kick off the report builder, which is the SQL report builder, which comes with the NAV DVD. So everyone on, I think, 2015 and up should have this as default. If you don't, you can download Visual Studio Express for 2013 and 2013 R2. Okay, so here's the report builder, and you can see already it looks pretty similar to what the output is. Just wait for it to load. It's been a bit slow. Okay. So you can see here's the header of our document. You should be able to hover over these, and it should give you, just trying to view the properties on it, custom address 31. So you'll have to compare it with PDF to try and find out what each field corresponds to. So this one is called company info phone number 1. That's quite helpful. VAT registration number 1. Okay, so we can get a gist of text box properties, bank account number 1. Okay, so first things first, let's say we're not happy with the bank details, and what's this one? Sales purchase person. Let's move this whole segment down. So you can highlight a whole bunch of fields, and you can press the down arrow or up arrow, or you can just drag it. I like to press the down arrow and up arrow because it keeps it all the alignment perfect. If you press Control and down, you do really small movements. If you just press down, it does like a full step. So Control is great for doing tiny little tiny movements, like one pixel at a time, or whatever the measurement is. Okay, so I'll save that. So I'll press Control S, or we could close it. Just for quickness, I'll press Control S. That goes and saves some temporary files in your app data folder. If we come into here now and we click anywhere on the report, it says it's picked up some changes to the report layout in our app data folder. Do I want to load them into NAV? Yes, I do. And now if we compile the object and do OK, that's gone and saved it into the database. So if we go and preview the report now, it should have made those changes. So that whole segment should have been moved down just a little bit. So let's go preview that. And I normally print to PDF because you get a better idea of you get the true representation. The preview in NAV isn't as good as doing it to PDF. Okay, so we've moved that down. We've got this big gap here now. Okay, let's go and delete some fields. We'll get rid of salesperson, account number, and bank. Oh no, we'll get rid of gyro. Let's get rid of gyro number. This may not be useful to a lot of people. So we'll go back into the report builder. I'm going to find the gyro. Not that one. The bonus with Visual Studio is it gives you a lot more info on the screen at any one time. There's gyro. So what I'll do, I'll highlight both of them, just do a shift, or I could just select each one individually and I can press delete. Or we could have made them hidden. There is a property on there to hide them, but I'll just delete them for the time being. I've got a backup, so I'm happy doing that. If we save the report and then we go and preview it, I'll print it. And we can now see the gyro has been deleted, so it's not there anymore. So it's dead simple to make small changes to your report. Okay, so let's go in and make some style changes. So we can go into the properties and we can go to font. We'll make it bold, make it italic, we'll make it blue. Same again for the actual value. One of them was a caption and one's going to be the data. Okay, and we're going to use bold, italic, and blue. Okay, so save that. And we'll also hide this one here, which is the account number caption. So we'll go to text box properties, visibility. We're going to hide it into OK. Hide it. OK. And the great thing about all of these fields is they can be conditionally visible. So let's say your customer had, let's say your customer was blocked, for example. You could pass through a value to say if the customer's blocked or overdue on credit or something like that. You could show certain info, like a certain label, all through the visibility on the report. It's a bit more advanced than what we're going to cover today, but there's a lot of powerful things you can do with RDLC, which is the report design layout in NAV. Okay, so we'll save that and we're going to have a look at it. Just compile the object. Okay, and we'll go and preview the report. Okay, so now we can see we've hidden those two fields, the account number. We've made the salesperson pulled on the bold and blue. Okay, let's go and add a label in. So we can just add some custom text, like terms and conditions or a notice or something. So I'll wait for that to load. Okay, so we're going to go to, we need to find our toolbox. Okay, text box. Run out of space. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I've got some blank space there now. Text box. Drag that. Okay, so we'll say this is some TMCs. Save that. In fact, let's go and make it pretty. Okay, we'll give it border, solid, black, outline. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, we'll save that. We'll load it in. Save the object in NAV. And let's go preview it. It's this one. Same button, just different area. Let's just double check before I do it. Make sure I'm printing the right report here. 205, yeah, that's the one. It's PDF. Open. Okay, there we go. So here's this is some terms and conditions. So this could be added to the footer, header. You can pass through pictures, you can embed pictures, you can embed watermarks. Bit tricky, but you can do it. You can load in picture boxes. So this is all, you can play about with this using the report builder. And there's a lot of guides on the internet on how to do it, but as long as you know where it is, where this tool is, and how to do it, it is very powerful and useful. So apart from that, let's go just check. So we've talked about report builder, adding fields, removing fields, moving fields, boxes, font sizing. I'll just show you how to add a line in, because some people like to have lines that split your page like separators. Let's add that in. Very simple to do, but we'll add it in and save that. I think it did save. Let me just check. Okay, let's go print the confirmation. Okay, and now at the top we can see this big line. Okay, so I think that sums up the NAV Know How for today. We're just on time, which is good. I'm going to put this on the blog so you can see it next week. I'll put links into what versions are good for what versions of Visual Studio or Report Builder are applicable to your version of NAV from 2009 RTC up to 2016. If you've got any questions, you can email me directly. Email support@metaphorix.co.uk. If you've got any questions now, I'm very happy to hear them. But other than that, yeah, thank you for joining me today.